We had an interesting thing happen yesterday. Interesting is probably a relative term. Broadcom became the 6th U.S. company to hit the magic $2 trillion of market capitalization. So let's talk about what is market capitalization. Probably often going to hear it abbreviated as market cap. Maybe you've heard the terms large cap, mid cap, small cap. I'm sure we've used them. What is it? Here's how you determine what a market capitalization is for a publicly traded company. You take their share price and you multiply it times the number of outstanding shares, and voila, you get a number. These move, as you would probably guess, depending on how the stock price goes. So when we say that there are 6 that have hit 2 trillion, that may not be the case tomorrow, but you get the point. Why does it matter? This is why. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are both market capitalization weighted indexes. NASDAQ is technically an exchange, like the New York Stock Exchange, but it gets referred to quite often when people are talking about how the economy is doing or the stock market. So it matters because in the S&P 500, as the name implies, there are 500 U.S. companies. It currently has a market capitalization of approximately $58 to $61 trillion. If one company, like NVIDIA, is worth $5 trillion, I'll let you do some math there real quick, but that's roughly 1/12, 8.5% of the S&P 500 is moved either up or down by how one component of 500 does that day. NASDAQ is the same. They currently report to have a market capitalization on the NASDAQ of approximately 42 trillion, and they have 4,000 listings. I do want to have one caution here. If you want to add the two numbers together and go, well, 60 trillion and 42 trillion must be 102 trillion. That's a lot of market capitalization. Your comment would be correct. Your math would be incorrect. And this is why. Members traded on the NASDAQ, or NASDAQ listed exchange, I shouldn't say almost. Let me back that up a second. You can be both. You can be traded on the NASDAQ and be part of the S&P 500. Like NVIDIA, like Apple, like Microsoft, like Google, like Broadcom, Tesla, etc. Or you could be like Walmart and be on the New York Stock Exchange and be part of the S&P 500. So you can't add them together. You have to know how much overlap there is between the two. But the take-home point here is 1 or 2 or 3 gigantic large companies can move the needle one direction or the other much more than the bottom 100 companies can in the S&P 500, for example. So that's the education part today. Thanks.